So good day everyone. This is the report of Group 3. It's all about interactive teaching methods. So what is interactive teaching methods? So this is the technique that seek to get the student involved or engaged in the learning process. So techniques or methodologies that focus on the maximum engagement of the student. So what maximum this is the highest or but that's it, the highest, and you involve your learners and ensure participation. When the students are likely actively involved in the learning process, they are more likely to stay focused and engaged. In interactive teaching, this is also help create a sense of fun and enjoyment of the student. There are some techniques in interactive teachings like debate. We can share ideas. The students will share their ideas, thoughts, or feelings, or role play, discussions, or games, and many more. So that the students develop their communication skills. So that's it. That is the description of the interactive teaching methods. So my co-reporter will discuss the advantage, disadvantage, and execution of interactive teaching methods. So that's all. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. By the way, I am Gladys Angel Im Labang. Today, I will discuss the advantages of interactive teaching methods. Interactive teaching methods offer several advantages for learners and educators. There are 5 advantages. First, engagement. Second, improve communication skills. Third, immediate feedback. Fourth, collaboration. And last, fun and enjoyable for children. Engagement. Interactive learning actively involves students, keeping them engaged and interested in the material. Engagement, it is a cornerstone of effective interactive teaching methods. It enhances the students' learning outcomes, motivates students to actively participate in the discussion, and equip them with critical skills needed for success in both academic and life. So, through group activities or role playing, group discussion, the teachers make strategies on how the students actively engage in the discussion or in the lesson. So for that, the students actively involve or engage. Next is improve communication skills. Interactive activities encourage students to speak, write, and communicate in the target language. It also enhances their language skills. Engaging in discussions and group activities helps students to develop their strong communication skills. They learn to express their ideas clearly and listen to others. And also, fostering effective communication as well. So, um, this through answering questions or asking question, the students enhance their language skills or communication skills. Next is immediate feedback. Interactive methods often provide immediate feedback and allowing students to gauge their understanding, and the teachers make correction or judgment in real time. So, for example, um, the students and the teachers asking a questions to students, so the students answering the questions, and after that the teachers make a judgment or correction about what the students answered for that question. So immediate feedback, it also a most powerful tool in interactive teaching methods because it promotes understanding, engagement, motivation, and continuous improvement. Next is collaboration. In interactive teaching methods, not only enriches the learning experiences but also equips students with essential life skills, including teamwork and communication. Through group activities or group discussions, students can collaborate, um, can share their ideas, or can express their own opinion and thoughts. Next is fun and enjoyable for children. Creating a fun and enjoyable learning experience within interactive teaching methods not only makes a learning more pleasant but also enhance student engagement, motivation, and overall well-being. It contributes to a positive learning environment. When learning in when learning is enjoyable and fun, students are more likely to be actively engaged in the classroom activities. So, if the teachers make strategies that the students can engage, or the learning or the discussion is fun, so the students more likely to engage, and classroom activities is enjoyable. That's all.
Good day, everyone. My name is April Mialenton. My assigned topic is to discuss the disadvantages of interactive teaching methods. So, interactive teaching methods offer numerous advantages. They also come with some potential disadvantages. It's important for educators to aware of these challenges and address them effectively. Here are some disadvantages of interacting methods. First is the time consuming. Interacting activities often require more time than traditional lectures. Planning, executing, and debriefing those activities can be time intensive. The second disadvantage is coverage of content. Interactive methods may cover less content compared to traditional lectures. Can be concerned if there's a lot of materials to be covered in a limited time. And the even participation. In groups activities, some students may dominate discussions while others may contribute less or feel excluded. Balancing participation can be challenging. Is limited content coverage. In some cases, interactive methods may not adequately cover certain complex or technical topics, leading to potential gaps in knowledge. The tenth is resource constraints. Schools with limited resources may struggle to implement interactive methods effectively due to a lack of technology, materials, or support. And is assessment alignment, ensuring that assessment methods align with interactive activities and measure the desired learning outcomes can be complex. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. For tonight's video, we are going to execute the interactive teaching method and how this method should be done by the students, administered by the teacher. So, before we're going to proceed on our discussion, let me introduce myself first. I am Rodolfo Magallanes Tutu Jr. from the BESED English 2A. So we have here some steps or the procedures on how to execute interactive teaching method. The first one is set clear learning objectives. So as a teacher, it is very important to set clear learning objectives. Why? Because it is to help teacher to stay focused on what and how they teach and help students to assess their own learning. And also, a clear learning objectives states what the learner will be able to do upon completion of the activity in terms of behavioral change and identifies the terminal's behavior of the desired outcome of the educational offering. So the second one is choose appropriate activities. So let's say for example, you are using interactive teaching method. So it's very important that as a teacher that your activity should align to the teaching method that you are using. For example, one of the common activity that involves interaction with the students and teacher is the oral recitation. Oral recitation is one of the common activity that is usually done during the class discussions. So sometimes or usually the students will able to raise their hand to ask questions, to ask queries because they are curious about something that we are discussing. So by that there is an engagement between the teacher and the students. So it is already deemed or considered as an interactive activity. The third one is prepare materials. So, as a teacher, it is very important for you that before you are going to conduct an activity, you should prepare the materials first that you are going to use in your activity because it's very important for you to be ready at all times because the activity could not be effective if these materials are lacking, if some materials are dysfunctional. So it's very important for you to check up first or to check out first is these materials that I'm preparing is well functional, or is this material that I am going to use in the activity right now is, you know, can be so effective so that the process or the flow of the learning of the students would be so smooth, and then by the delivery of the activity it's so easy or accessible for the students to make up the activity because you already have prepared the materials that you are going to utilize in the conduction of the activity. The fourth one is explain the purpose. So, as a teacher, we're always the instructor. You have to instruct them first or to explain to them what is the purpose why you are going to conduct this activity. So, if your teaching method that you are using is interactive, you should emphasize to them that I used this activity. It's because I want to enhance your communicative skills or your communication skills so that you can be able to communicate your students effectively or to your teacher effectively. So it's very important that you explain vividly the purpose because it avoids or it helps students to avoid misconception or misunderstanding about the activity that you are using which is related to the discussion, because your role there as a teacher is to facilitate the students, that you should guide them that this is what do you gonna do, this is what you're going to do, this is will be the process of making this activity, or these are the steps on how you will be able to achieve these or the specific outcome that as a teacher you're also manifesting. The sixth one is provide clear instructions. So this step is somewhat similar to the number 4 and the number 5 because again it is very important that as a teacher you provide clear instructions to your students because it is to avoid leading to some misconception, to some confusions, because misunderstanding can lead to counterproductivity of students. They could not be able to attain the specific outcome that as a teacher you're also manifesting that they should achieve this. So it's very important to provide clear instructions. It is already understandable because it is always part of um, assessment whenever you're going to conduct some activity. Number 7 is assess learning. So, as a teacher, it is very important for you that you already have the knowledge or the background of the topic that you're about to discuss, because you cannot give something that you do not have. This is the common thoughts that we are usually using. So, you cannot give what you do not have. So it is very important that as a teacher, you are already well rounded or well versed on the topic that you're going to discuss to your students, because it is so embarrassing as a teacher that you cannot be able to explain clearly or vividly the topic, and that may lead to some misconception of the students. So I utter misconceptions so many times because these are usually the common issue of not providing clear instructions. So, assess learning, because you cannot assess how will you facilitate learning if you as a teacher you also do not know about the topic. So it's very important that you are well versed, you are very well rounded on the topic, whether it is given abruptly or ahead of time. So the number 8 is provide feedback. So, as a teacher, you should know how to give feedback or compliments to your students, because it is very important that you give some amazing feedbacks of the output that has made by your students, because by giving such compliments or amazing feedbacks, that can actually boost their engagement and exercise utmost level of participation to the discussion or to the topic that you are discussing. So it's very important that you should not also exercise unfair treatment or compliment to your student. That, for example, you will just you will say that I will only accept the output of Mr. Tapulano. It's because his work conforms to the following steps or to the following directions that you provide to him, and then I will not accept the activity of Miss Tapulana. It's because there is a lot of error she made. So that should not be exercised as a teacher. Rather, give or provide feedback that is actually encourage them, that could actually encourage them to do more so on in every discussion, such as class participation. So the last step of the interactive teaching method execution is variety and the flexibility. So there are inevitable instances or circumstances that some of your students will ask, "Ma'am, how will I do this one?" or "What I'm gonna do with this one?" So, as a teacher, you should be flexible enough to answer those concerns, to accompany with those students who need guidance, who need someone to guide them to actually conform on the direction that you have provided. So, as a teacher, you should not be high tempered, or you should be always possess the patience, the calmness of your heart and mind to answer and to address every problems or every issues during the activity. So that concludes my report. So again, thank you for listening to the steps of how to execute interactive teaching method. So I hope guys you learned something from this video, and thank you very much for listening, and I hope you are doing well tonight. Bye guys. Thank you for watching.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Bibi Joya Bali, and I am tasked to discuss about some examples of interactive teaching methods. So, the first examples of interactive teaching method is a debate. So, a debate is provide students the opportunity to work in a collaborative and cooperative group. So some examples of a debate in teaching grammar rules. The first one is the ending a sentence with a preposition. So can you end a sentence with a preposition? So like for examples, a sentence, what are you waiting for? So traditional grammar rules discourage this, but it is widely accepted in modern usage. So another example of a debate in teaching grammar rules is the split infinitives. So it is acceptable to place an adverbs between the to and the verb in an infinitive. So for instance, to boldly go instead of to go boldly. Traditional grammar rules discourage split infinitives, but many modern linguists consider them acceptable. So this debate highlights the ongoing discussions about grammar rules and their applications in modern language usage. And the second examples of interactive teaching method is the Q&A question. So a Q&A question is a session during which member of an audience have the opportunity to ask a notable person questions. So few examples of a Q&A format used to explain grammar rules. The first question is, when should I use a versus an? So the answer is, use a before words that begins with a consonant sound, and use an before words that begins with a vowel sound. And the second examples of a Q&A question is, how do I use commas in a series? The answer, commas are used to separate items in a series. So, for example, I bought apples, orange, and bananas. So, these are just few examples of how Q&A format can be used to explain grammar rules that helps provide clear and concise answer to common questions about language and usage. And the third examples of interactive teaching methods is the interactive learning games. And interactive learning games are fun activities and games in which students participate in groups. So here are a few examples of interactive learning games that can help teach grammar rules. So the first one is the sentence sort. So what is the sentence sorts? A sentence sorts is a game where students are given jumbled sentences and have to rearrange the words to create grammatically correct sentences. So these games helps reinforce sentences, structures, and words or and word order rules in an interactive and engaging way. So another example is the Jeopardy style grammar games. Teacher can create Jeopardy style grammar games using online tools or templates. So students can participate in teams or individually. Students can participate in teams or individually and answer questions related to grammar rules. So, such as part of speech, sentence type, and punctuations. So, it adds an element of competition and engagement to grammar lessons. So these games makes learning grammar rules more interactive and enjoyable. So helping students practice and reinforce their understanding of grammatical concepts. So that's all. Thank you.